What's up, Rockstars? Today I'm going to tell you about a wild and crazy party I had with Becca Scott. Kind of. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. As always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial support that this channel is possible. If you appreciate the videos I make every single week for you guys, and you can give even $1 a month, there is a link down in the description below. Thank you so very much. Okay, let's get this out of the way. The joke I wanted to make, and before I even say it, I'm going to tell you she's totally fine. It was a magic trick. But what I really wanted to say was that I went to a crazy party and Becca Scott got stabbed, because I find that hilariously just worded, and it's just so out there ridiculous. I literally maybe it's how my brain works. I don't know. But when that happened, right? And then it was like an out of, like it snapped me out of it, right? So I'm watching the performance. There's a stage. I'll tell you all about this in a moment, but I kind of want to explain why I made this video. So I'm standing there, and there has been loud music, and people are shouting and drinking and all this stuff. I'll tell you about it. And there's this magician on stage, and Becca Scott gets up there, and they have her get into this suit and then get into this box, and then he starts stabbing the box and doing all this. It's silly fun. It's the crowd's interested. He's doing a good job showing it up. He did a great job, by the way, especially for a crowd that was half there to just have fun and half there to work. And so it's kind of a weird thing. I'll talk about it. But as he's doing that, I just kind of stand back and I'm like, I'm here in this little hole of a place. Becca Scott just got stabbed, and I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of game devs and people in the industry and owners of companies and stuff like that. And I'm just like, how did I get here? And how many people know about this as a thing? And then I thought, well, I'll make a video about it. And then I thought, because Becca Scott just got stabbed, right? That's that's crazy. She was fine, by the way. She was behind the curtain. All right, so let's talk about that. And although I keep mentioning her, if you don't know who she is, I don't know if she got her start from there or not, but she was really big on Geek and Sundry, and now she's kind of off doing her own thing, and she does fantastic instructional videos on board games. She does really good playthroughs as well. I've enjoyed watching a few of those. A highlight for me was Black Rose Wars, because I didn't understand how that game was played at all if it wasn't for her. So she does very great stuff. I'll link down to her stuff down below. That's the only fair thing to do if I'm using her name in a video. But anyway, so how did this happen? How did I sneak into this? Because I wasn't invited, and it was invite only. Well. Okay, so I guess I should explain what this was first. So at Gen Con, there was a couple companies that got together. Foreteller was one of them. There was a few others. I don't want to name anything wrong, so I'm not going to try and just go off memory. But they got together and kind of pitched together some funds to essentially make a invite only industry party. So you had to be invited to this thing, and it was kind of a private party that they had where you could get some drinks and get some food on them, and the idea was to celebrate, to entertain, and to network, and kind of collaborate and work together. This was the first Gen Con where we were all back together again. It was just really great to get a line of sight into that. But I wasn't invited, at least not at first. My good friends at Shadowborn Games were like, "Hey, how about this King of Average guy? Can you invite Michael?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." Probably not knowing who I am. Thank God. And so they're like, "All right, let's go." I slip in there, and I know a few people there, but two people. I knew two people there, and that's only because I'd spoken to a few before. But so I'm there, and There's some collaboration for sure, but for the most part, I think the overall goal was just to kind of party, just kind of celebrate and enjoy being back together or whatever. Now that builds in networking, right? When you're drinking with people, you tend to get to know them a little bit, And I got like 3 business cards out of the deal. So like, and I wasn't even like going there to network. That was not my goal at all. My goal there was actually to talk to Shadowborn Games. I was like, hey, let's sit down and let's actually have a discussion. I want to pick their brain about all sorts of industry stuff. A lot more than I could do even in a recorded interview. And they had been very frank with me before offline. And I wanted to continue that sort of conversation. I have to have them worry about me recording or anything like that. So there was no place to sit down. So we were standing and shouting. We were standing like right next to each other, shouting because the music was so loud, so loud. But we had a really great conversation. We really did. But I didn't like go network too much. I met a few personalities. I learned about a upcoming game I'll share with you guys later, and some other cool technology that I told them that, hey, once you get up and running, let me know. So I'll let you know about that as well. So like some good things happen there. But I want to talk specifically about doing stuff like renting out a location, buying everybody drinks, hiring magicians, and getting Becca Scott to be there, and doing all of this costs money, of course. And I have now done, I don't know how many videos. You guys get tired of it. How many videos of these companies that are like struggling? And so obviously, not all of them are, at least not to the point to where they need to do that. Now, I thought it was interesting that Foreteller was one of them, because Foreteller does a digital app, and as I've said many times before, that's where great profit margins are, is in the digital space, right? Because you just get a whole bunch of people, and it's easy distribution, and all this other kind of stuff, right? And you can dip on many different revenue streams that way, as opposed to just making physical games, selling physical game. That makes sense, right? Okay, so it's not only that, but they're almost a service with other games, right? And so they get to kind of benefit from a variety of things. And again, they were not the only ones. It's not like they were just footing this whole bill or anything like that, but. It was kind of interesting because I didn't know something like this existed, I guess is kind of my point. And I wouldn't have if I hadn't been invited. So I'm very thankful for the experience to be there. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about doing this. I don't see anything wrong with celebrating, amongst your peers. Like I said, I wanted to do something very similar to this with you guys, right? And I hope to still continue to, especially now that I've been there, kind of understand things. And as, kind of funding gets up and I can fly in there and do things that are a little bit easier. But yeah, I want to put forward for us to be able to hang out together and have fun together, right? I don't see anything wrong with peers doing that. Now, them, and it's all about mindset, right? So when I say them, I mean people in the industry. A lot of you would probably think, well, aren't you in the industry? I guess maybe, but in my head, I'm not. I hope that makes sense to you. You are who you align with, even if you don't quite match that. Almost like kind of like a dog, right? Where you don't really see maybe you, but you're like, well, I think of myself as a consumer. Or I think of myself as in the industry. Because there are people sitting here where I am talking to you on YouTube that view them as part of the industry, that view them as among the devs and just another piece in the cog of the board game development thing. I don't. I've never once thought that in my head. When people try to claim that, I think that feels weird. And anyway, so it was interesting for somebody like me to be outside of it, see them act this way. I actually felt it kind of heartwarming that they were able to get along, because a lot of people, I think, believe that, first of all, it's all about money. And first of all about, like getting yours and, kind of a cutthroat competitive nature. And it's not. I mean, if you think about it, all these people are technically competitors, if you want to view it that way. Yet they were there to celebrate and collaborate. And I think that's actually really darn cool. But I wasn't aware that stuff like this happened. And I didn't know if you were either. And I think it's important to know what goes on in the industry, right? I mean, at the end of the day, my job is to report on the industry and talk to you guys about it. Now, I use the word report kind of lightly. It's very much an opinion piece every time, as you know. Perhaps someday we'll get to the point where there's a we. When I say we'll get to the point, and once there's a we, maybe then there'll be some more formal reporting style kind of stuff instead of just me jabbering away at you. But I think it's important to kind of know what kind of goes on and what the industry does. And this was such a step back moment for me where I'm like, wow, this is like, like really interesting to witness and to see. Do I think it was in poor taste? No. Do I think it was the most beneficial thing to do? Not for collaboration. Like I said, we had to shout to speak to each other. We could barely hold a conversation. We did. We talked the entire time. It was a wonderful conversation. And I feel incredibly blessed to be able to have had that opportunity to chat with such cool people. It really, it was wonderful to meet everybody at Gen Con. Literally everybody was awesome. So I thought that was kind of cool, but it was just interesting to see who was there. I don't know who all was invited. I don't know who was invited and didn't accept. But it was certainly interesting to kind of see that and be a part of that. So anyway, I mean, yeah, like I said, even Becca Scott was there. There were, I think, a few other people that did content like what I do. But I'm not entirely sure. Again, I didn't know a whole lot of people there. They were not my peers. That was just kind of like almost felt like a fly on the wall kind of thing, right? It was, again, it's not like there was any like industry secrets or anything like that released. It was very much just a party, really. And one I arrived late to, actually. But yeah, it was really interesting to see that. And I would like to actually see that more. I guess what I'm saying is I don't know if they feel, and maybe it's an invite only thing, right? Perhaps that's it. But we don't see that line of sight to them a lot, right? We hear in other industries like the video game industry or the Hollywood and stuff like that, we hear about parties and getting get-togethers, if you want to even word it that way, or different events that happen for those people and for the people within that. But we don't really get that in board games. It's not that I was aware of. Perhaps I've just not been invited to them and I just didn't know. But I wanted to tell you guys about it. There are definitely some parties at Gen Con. No hard drugs that I was aware of. Scouts Honor, I don't even know what Scouts do, but there was nothing like that. There was drinking, I guess. It's a drug to some people, I suppose. But yeah, it was good-natured enjoyment of others' company and just the time and being able to be there at Gen Con. And so I think that was actually pretty cool. I don't know if that's what you thought I was going to lead into with this, but it definitely was. It was neat to see that. So yeah, I look forward to future events like that, whether I'm invited or not. Just because I think it's a wonderful thing to do, to actually see people kind of outside the workspace and just kind of relax. This was late. It was like midnight kind of thing, right? Yeah, just pretty cool. So I want to let you guys know about it. I want to let you know that it happened. If you have any specific questions or I guess concerns about it or anything like that, let me know in the comments below. I would love to discuss this with you. If you think it's inappropriate, please do tell me why. I can think of many reasons why you would think that, and I would love to have that conversation with you. And it's, of course, fine to disagree or agree or whatever. I didn't see anybody there that I felt like, ooh, man, a good thing they got in a free meal. So you can rest assured that's okay there. But again, I don't know. I don't know their financials or anything like that. But it was definitely an interesting conversations, and an event to see. All right, that's it. That's all I had. A real quick video here for you guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys again very, very soon about some awesome board game stuff. So stay tuned. Take care. Bye.